Season 7 of Sun Coaches Podcast is proudly brought to you by Titan Sensor. Season 7. That was my number in high school, so maybe this will be lucky for us. We'll see. You know, I've learned over time that when somebody's talking about something you really don't want to talk about, you just can always throw in there, hey, I knew this guy once, and then just pretty much make up whatever you want to, and they won't listen to it. They'll get off track. And you don't have to talk about the uncomfortable thing anymore. Coach, like we do every week, tell everybody where you grew up and where you're from. Sun Coaches Podcast, where not everybody has a funny story, but everybody has a story. Hope you enjoy Season 7 of Sun Coaches Podcast. Sun Coaches is proud to partner with Titan Sensor for Season 6 and 7. Titan is made in the USA. Proudly founded and based in Texas. When you connect with Titan, you are not alone. You can collaborate and share templates with other coaches across the country to build reports and foster competition. Used by programs such as State 6A Georgia State champion Grayson High School, Titan can tailor a package to fit your needs. The eye in the sky never lies. Improve your team's performance with Titan. Welcome to Sun Coaches Podcast, Season 7, and today I'm joined by alumni of Chapel Hill High School. He's coached in Georgia, and now he's the defensive coordinator at Har-Ber High School in Arkansas. Coach Julian Washington, thanks for being on with me.
Coach, how you doing, man? I'm glad to be here.
So you grew up in Douglasville.
Yes, sir. Douglasville, Georgia, Chapel Hill High School.
Yeah, I was at Lithia Springs probably back in the day when you were playing, and I don't know. When did you graduate from there?
So I graduated Coach Parker's second year, 2010. Coach Parker was my head coach my junior and senior year.
Oh, I'd done been out of there. I was at Lithia in 3, 4, and 5. So you would have been, yeah, you'd have been a 7th grade. You'd have been in middle school.
Yeah, I was in middle. I got to high school in 2006.
Yeah, I got you. So, what all did you play at Chapel Hill?
So it's kind of interesting. Before Coach Parker got there, my freshman and sophomore year, I played safety. And then my junior year, I actually had surgery on my shoulder, so I didn't play. And it's interesting. I always tell kids this story. Like, there's some decisions you regret in life. Coach Parker had just got hired my junior year, and he's like, "Hey, man, why you not coming out to play? I heard you play football, blah, blah, blah." And I'm like, "Coach, I had a surgery on my shoulder, man. I can't play this year." So he was like, "Okay, well, come be a water boy, come be a manager for us, learn the ropes." I'm like, "Yeah, no, Coach, I'm too cool for that, man. I'm not no water boy." Well, senior year, when I come back, he lets me come back. Coach, I'm talking about whatever is under the freshman, that's where I was on the depth chart. I'm talking about he put me way under, and I had to work myself out of it, and I ended up being a starting outside linebacker there at Chapel Hill.
So did you play any other sports, or were you just a football guy?
Man, I was just a football guy, but hindsight's always 20/20. I wish I would have ran track. I wish I would have wrestled. I tried out for basketball, didn't make it, and after that, I just I'm a football guy. I didn't know any better. They didn't promote us like that.
Well, the people that don't know, the basketball in the Douglas County area is pretty legit. I remember when I was at Lithia Springs, we had 15 kids on the basketball team that I saw them walking around the school and was like, who are those kids?
Oh, 100%.
Oh, Coach, they play basketball.
Oh, yeah.
And
yeah,
I'm
we
like,
had
okay, between them and Douglas County and Alexander, and you had, Westlake and Pebblebrook are right there in that corner.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, man, there was some freaking real basketball players. I remember watching Douglas County play our bunch one year, and the ball didn't touch the floor the first 2.5 minutes of the game. It was pass, alley, pass, three, pass. I mean, I was like, good God Almighty. I ain't never seen anything like it.
My junior, senior year, our region it was us, Westlake, Pebblebrook, East Coweta. It was loaded, man. Morrow, Mundy's Mill, we had Riverdale. So I remember Westlake came my senior year, and it was like a dunk contest. Like, they were just throwing alley. They had Mr. Basketball, Marcus Thornton. He was Mr. Basketball that year, and they're just throwing alley-oops on us like it wasn't nothing. And we were good.
Yeah. I was saying, it wasn't like Chapel Hill was no pushovers either.
Ooh. Westlake had some guys, though, Cole. The boys was big. They had creatures.
So did you get an opportunity to play college football, or did you just go on to school?
So I went to Savannah State University, where I actually gray-shirted. When I got there, they were going through a coaching change, and it's funny, Hans Badashan, who is now the receivers coach at McEachern, he recruited me when he was at Savannah State. And then when I got there, he was already gone. But I ended up playing at Savannah State for 2 years, and I ended up tearing my shoulder up again, the same shoulder, and kind of ended my career. And then Steve Davenport, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Coach Davenport. He was the head coach at Woodland, yeah, the DeKalb County guy. He was the head coach at the time at Savannah State, and he brought me in and was like, "Hey, man, I think you know the game better than you can play it. Would you like to be a student coach?" And so that's where my coaching career really began at Savannah State University. Him and Coach Khalif, who's now, I believe, he's at Michigan State or Wisconsin, one of those two. They gave me an opportunity, and that's really where I learned how to coach football. And I did that for 3 years, ended up with my bachelor's degree, and I earned the right to talk in meetings, which I'm very proud of. I still say that to this day because that was a big deal for me. Because at one point I was just breaking down film. I would just tag the film, practice film. But Coach Khalif used to challenge me and was like, "Hey, man, I'll buy you lunch if you can tag all the practice film without using the script." So that's what really taught me how to watch film. So I would sit there and I would look at the film and I would try to figure out what plays we were doing, what coverage we were in, and things of that nature. And then I earned the right to help in game planning and all that kind of stuff. And I became the liaison between the players and the coaches. And, so Savannah State was awesome for me, man. Like, I got to play college football. I only played one game, got 2 tackles in that game, and I got bullied the rest of it. And but it was fun, man. It was fun. College was awesome. Went to Savannah State for 4.5 years.
Yeah, my brother lives in Thunderbolt, right down the road from Savannah State.
Coach, I am from Thunderbolt. My grandmother's house, God rest her dead, her house is still in Thunderbolt. That's where I live. We have an heirloom in Thunderbolt next to the Parkers.
Okay, well, my brother lives down there. He hangs out at the VFW down there a lot, but he's still there. He lives down there and works in Savannah, so I know exactly where those places are. And Savannah State, great situation, and going to HBCU and proudly representing and starting in your career as a college coach. And it's hard to get that opportunity, and this probably sucks the way it came about, but
Sure.
It kind of, like you said, it kind of set the table. So when you came out, did you want to stay in the college ranks, or did you kind of want to head toward high school? Or, what was your thinking on the teaching and coaching profession?
Coach, I didn't have no plan, man. When I got to college, I changed my major maybe 9 times, literally. Like, I did every science you could think of. I thought I could be a pharmacist, and I failed chemistry like 3 times. I was like, all right, pharmacy's not for me. And then my calculus teacher, Dr. Deloach, he passed away as well. He brought me in. He was like, "Hey, man, what you think about being a math major?" I was like, "Man, I'm not good at math." And come to find out, I had never made less than a B in math. And I had no idea. Like, I just did it. And so I got my math degree, and my last year at Savannah State, I met Scott Swarzer at Windsor Forest. So I knew I wanted to make money. I didn't really know about the college deal. Like, I didn't know about chasing it because that staff got let go, I want to say my last year, something along those lines where they're about to get let go. And so I never really understood the whole chasing it and all that kind of deal. I knew I wanted to make some money. So I saw Scott Swarzer was hiring at Windsor Forest. So my senior year, I applied, and he let me come be a lay coach at Windsor Forest. So I was double dipping my senior year. I was coaching at Savannah State on Saturdays, and I was coaching at Windsor Forest throughout the weekend on Fridays. So if we had a home game, I was always there. And if we had an away game at Savannah State, I would be able to travel with the team if they left Friday or if we had a game on Thursday. So I was still able to travel to like Middle Tennessee and places like that for those games and be in the box and help out the staff at Savannah State while still coaching at Windsor Forest. So Scott Swarzer gave me my first job at Windsor. And the principal, I guess he just liked me. He ended up liking me. He talked to the kids, and they offered me a job before I even passed the GACE. And so all I had to do was pass the math GACE, and it took me a couple times. But once I passed it, I was hired in January. So I started teaching in January of 2015, one of those, 2015.
Well, as somebody that's been a head coach and tried to get a staff together, that you find a young African-American male that teaches math, man, that's like hitting the lottery 4 or 5 times right there. If you
I
just
tell
find
people
a
all the
male
time.
that teaches math, don't,
I
don't
tell
matter
people
if he's
that all the
green with
time.
pink polka dots. If he's a
Coach, I got
man,
job security, coach. I got job security, coach.
oh
I
yeah,
got job
forever.
security. Yeah, forever, coach. Like I tell people all the time, I'm a black math teacher, a male black math teacher. Ain't many of me out there.
Yeah,
Ain't many of me out there.
yeah. It's kind of like being a male special ed teacher. It's a good gig if you can get it. You
Exactly,
know?
exactly. And that's crazy you say that because that's how I got this job. They only had a math spot.
Well,
And
that's
so I
awesome.
was, you know what I mean? It just I was able to brand myself, like you said, having a math degree, and I ended up getting my specialist too. So I'm a African American with 3 math degrees and a specialist. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's the kind of stuff that keeps you in jobs.
Oh, ain't no doubt. So, how long were you at Windsor Forest?
Man, so now it starts to get, I'm starting to bounce around a little bit. After Windsor, we were there for a season, and then Coach Schwarzer ended up getting the OC job at Duluth with Coach Swank, who's now at Chambly. So you'll start to see how all this gets put together. So Coach Swank hires Coach Schwarzer to be the OC, and Coach Schwarzer tells Coach Swank, "Hey, I got a young coach from Atlanta, looking to come back." And this is before I even knew about it. He just spoke highly of me, and Coach Swank offered me the special teams coordinator job. And I'll never forget, he called me and said, "Hey, you can come be my special teams coordinator." He said something along the lines of, "I do not care what you know. I do not need your opinion. I need you to run what I tell you to run." I said, "Yes, sir."
Yeah, I had Coach on the podcast, and I love that dude. He's old head, and yeah,
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, hey, when you're a young cat and you get that title, you don't really care. I mean, well, you shouldn't. You should be like, yeah, yes, sir. I'll do whatever you want me to do. You want me to turn around and punt it
Man,
backwards? We'll do that.
exactly. And I tell people all the time, Coach Swank really changed the trajectory of my coaching career. Like Coach Swank, man, he gave me opportunities to learn that I'm not ready, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah,
Like
no, I think that's very important.
it is, man. I tell young coaches all the time this story about Coach Swank. So I was at Duluth, right? And we were on the up and up. Like we won another game every year. I was there for 2 years, 2 seasons, but they wouldn't let me out of special ed, and so I decided to go coach college ball again. But anyways, coach, we were going through a transition at defensive coordinator, and this is before we hired Coach O.C. Williams, who's now the DC at Tuskegee. Um, we had to change, and I was like, Coach, I'm ready to be the DC. Like, if the previous guy can do it, I know I can do it. Like, Coach, I can do this. Swank's like, all right. I kept bugging him about it. He's like, okay. I'll let you interview for it. So, okay, cool. I'm locked in, coach. Next day, I'm ready, coach. I come in my shirt and tie. I'm ready to rock and roll. And so we get on the board. He's like, all right, draw your base defense up and, draw up power. So I draw up power, and I think I defended pretty good. He's like, okay, what happens in this situation? Uh-oh. What happens in this situation? What about this? What about that? Coach, I just kind of froze. And he was like, all right, that's what I was saying. You're not ready yet. But I vowed from that day I would never not be ready again. Well, he gave me one more opportunity for special team. I kept saying, Coach, I hate our kick return. Let's run this kick return. I seen it online. It's going to work. It's perfect. He's like, all right, call the staff meeting for me. All right, special teams meeting. All right, Washington, you got it. Your special teams coordinator, you've been running this kick return. You've been bugging me about it. Get on the board. So I draw the front line up, and I draw the second line up. And he was like, all right, what yard line those guys on? I was like, oh, I didn't think about that. He was like, where are they lined up? I'm like, and I can't tell you what he said, but in front of the whole staff, I'm talking about he absolutely loses it on me. It's so bad that my mentor now, O.C. Williams, he acted like he had a phone call and just walked out. Like it was bad. I'm sweating and but those 2 moments right there shaped my career because when I tell you, you will never catch me unprepared. You will never catch me without an answer to anything. So I always thank Coach Swank for that because that really taught me like you have to be prepared in all situations. You have to be ready all the time.
Oh yeah, ain't no doubt, and that's unfortunately sometimes that's what has to happen for you to learn because you obviously you've went on and eventually became a head coach, and y'all won a state championship last year in Bentonville as a assistant coach there. So I mean, it's not like it didn't kill your career. I mean, like we tell kids all the
Mhm.
time, not having your cell phone doesn't mean you can't still be president one day.
That's right. That's 100% right.
It'll be
100% right.
it'll be okay. Learn from it and move on, and you did. So you said you were there for 2 years, and then you went back to coach college ball.
Yeah, so ended up going to Nichols College. I left in February and I went to Nichols College, which is a small D3 in Dudley, Massachusetts. And I was there because I was there D3 ball, maybe a couple months. I was down here recruiting in Atlanta. And then I got a call from SWASU. So I made it through the spring, and D3 don't play spring football, if you didn't know. It was a shock to me when I got there. But I got a call from SWASU, which was a D2 in Oklahoma, which I had heard from before I took the Nichols job, but they kind of ghosted me a little bit. And so, I guess they were going through spring football or whatever. And so I take that job and I moved down there and maybe all June. So 17 hours to Dudley, Massachusetts, 17 hours back to Atlanta, 17 hours to Weatherford, Oklahoma, driving. And like they say, man, when you're in college, you take what you can pack in your car. Whatever it can fit is what you go with. So I packed everything in my car, my little futon mat. And I went on to Weatherford, Oklahoma, and I was there for 2 seasons as a GA, and got my master's degree from there, which was, and I got a little piece of advice for young coaches, man. Like, if you're going to be a GA, do not let them dictate what you get your degree in. Okay, use your leverage. I knew for a fact that they wanted to hire a minority coach because he said it. The defensive coordinator let me know. All right, well, when I get there, they're like, hey, man, these are the options, kinesiology, this, that. I say, yeah, no, I have a math degree. I need to get my master's in mathematics because I'm thinking long term, this college thing is hit or miss. I can always go back to high school, but I need that master's degree and that certification. So I left Georgia certified. I was in Teach Gwinnett when I was at Duluth, and I ended up getting certified. So I knew to make more money in education, you needed a master's. Well, I'm not going to get my master's in PE if my degree is in math. I know how hard it is to get a PE job. So I tell guys all the time, man, don't let those guys dictate what your degree is. I got my math education degree. I went to real class. It wasn't all online. I had to go sit in there and get some seat time. And they actually ended up making that program for me because I was the first one in like 20 years with math education. But all you got to do is speak about it. Like, all you got to do is talk about it and bring it up. And the answer is no until you ask. So you always want to bring that kind of stuff up because you got to take care of yourself first. So, but I was at SWASU for 2 years, coached the secondary, where we had some pretty good success in the secondary. We weren't really good at football as a team, but I learned valuable experiences there. I learned coaching college ball, learned recruiting. I recruited Texas and other places. So, yeah, man, SWASU was good for me as far as my football career goes. Got my master's degree out of it. Didn't pay for school. Two degrees for free. Can't really beat that.
Oh, and that's something you preach to kids to this day. Use the user. They're going to use you
Mm-hmm.
for football or whatever. You use them to get that paper.
100%.
Because
it can't take it away from you.
That's right. And so you're there for 2 years. So what happened after that?
All right. So after SWASU, my wife and I, we were expecting. And that's when, had to make some real grown man decisions. Do I want to chase this college thing or do I want to go be a dad? And I remember one of the coaches I had at SWASU, he had a family there in Oklahoma. They were kind of older, but I learned that he had kids that were my age that didn't talk to him because he chose football over his family. And I just realized, I remembered how unhappy he was on the day-to-day basis. And I just couldn't do it, man. I always vowed that I was going to be a dad. I didn't want anybody else raising my child. So I moved back to Atlanta, and that's when I got on with Coach O'Sullivan at North Atlanta when he was there. Coach Jamie All was the OC at the time. And so he brought me on as a co-DC DBs coach at North Atlanta. And that's when we kind of had that historic year of making the playoffs for the first time in 20 years. And we were good, man. We were really good. Had the best record since like 92 or something like that. Like, we were really good at North Atlanta. But I always thank Coach for that because, like I said, I moved back to Atlanta. The school was 5 minutes from where we lived. So it was just a great spot, and I want to go home and be a dad, man, be a dad and a husband.
And that's a good staff, too, there with Sully and Jamie. They're good people. And North Atlanta's such a unique school, too, just an interesting, it's all kind of, for those that don't know, I mean, there's a lot of money there and a lot of support and, everything you want as a high school football coach. You can get players, your facilities are great, and you got support, and you got people with pouring money into the program. So those are all great things there. So
Absolutely.
after you were, how long were you there?
So this is when my growth starts happening, man. And I was there for a year. And then I got the DC job at New Manchester under Cedric Jackson. So once I left SWASU, man, my career kind of just started taking off for me. And I ended up with in good lucky. I don't want to say lucky, but they were kind of planned. Like I tell guys all the time, man, when you take a job, is your job setting you up for your next job? Like, is this job going to set you up for the job that you want? And so I took the DC job at New Manchester with Coach Jackson. And so I told you we broke all those records at North Atlanta. Well, we go to New Manchester, who has never won ever. And they were what I think 1-9 the year before. Well, we go 7-4, win the region, win the first playoff game. And yeah, we just take off. I mean, we won. That was the first region championship in Douglas County since '06. Well, I mean '02 actually, '02. So I was able to kind of get my name out there because we were the DC. I mean, I was the DC. We were doing really well. We beat Chapel Hill, my alma mater, in the region championship at Chapel Hill. You know, it's kind of just like a storybook deal for me, man. And so Coach Jackson gave me my first chance to call the defense on my own. You know, he let me have it. And we did pretty well, man. We did pretty well, won the region, won a playoff game, and all of those were the first time in school history. Best record in school history, all that kind of stuff. So I was there for a year at New Manchester as well because, I know, obviously after that I got the Arabian Mountain job.
So your first head coaching job.
Ooh. Oh, Lord Jesus.
you don't know how much you don't know until you sit in the big chair and you don't know.
Oh, it was such a roller coaster, man. Like, and then like the worst part is this, Coach. We played spring ball against Dutchtown. That's back when Fed was there and they were rolling. Well, Coach, we tied. I think the after varsity was 7-6. My first spring, so I'm like, oh, we good. So then we go into the summer and then we go into the fall. Coach, we start off 2-0. You can't tell me that I'm not the next Nick Saban. All right. You can't tell me that I'm not the best football coach in the country. We go 2-0. Coach, we beat MLK and we beat Rockdale. Coach, we lose 7 of the next 8.
Humbling.
But the worst part about it, Coach, is we were in at 5 out of the 7 games. We were tired of winning in the fourth quarter. It's like we talked about earlier, man, is learning how to win. And I had to be a better head coach, man. There were so many things that I had to learn. Like, you can't yell at the refs like you Nick Saban because they don't care. Like, they're not going to change the call. So why do you keep yelling at the refs? You know, I had to learn, like, when I yell at the refs, I see my players yelling at the refs. Now we're not focused, or my coaches are yelling at the refs. So that first year, man, bus requests and equipment and oh my goodness, Coach. They don't tell you about all the stuff you gotta go through as a head coach.
So how long had Arabia Mountain been in existence when you got there?
2010. So I had got there in the 21.
Okay.
I believe 21. I think it was just after the 10-year anniversary.
So you got there after COVID.
I got there the year. So COVID was New Manchester. The year after was Arabia Mountain. So that's the other thing, Coach. I'm doing freaking temperature scanners and descent. Oh my goodness, Coach. Oh, that first year was an adventure, man. And I'm so grateful for it because it definitely built me as a coach. Like, I tell people all the time, you want to learn how to coach football, go to DeKalb County. Go to DeKalb County because you got what you got, and you got to make something out of it.
And you're right there next to Stevenson, who's a traditional power. Southwest DeKalb sitting right there. Cedar Grove is doing what Cedar Grove do, and you just, you the new kid on the block.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I tell people all the time, man, you got to go after the big dogs. Like, I knew for a fact that you, like you just said, Stevenson, Cedar Grove, all them schools are around, who are able to attract kids based on their program being good. So for me, I knew job number one was keeping my kids. When I got there, we had a really good sophomore class and a really athletic freshman class. So I had some seniors they were good kids, man, but you know how it is that first senior year, and Coach Pritchard did a great job prior to me. But they had about a year or two down. Um, so those guys were kind of part of that. That COVID kind of, hurt them a little bit. So my main goal was keeping my players. So we had a really good freshman and sophomore class. And so I ended up starting a true freshman at quarterback, a true freshman receiver, and a true freshman lineman that first year. And one thing that I did that I think really helped us my third year is that first year we played all those guys that were kind of tweeners between varsity and JV. They all played JV as well. And we went 6-1. I think the only team we lost to was either Cedar Grove or Buford. I can't remember. It was one of those two. We ended up playing Buford 2 or 3 times in JV. But those are the only teams we lost to. So I taught those kids how to win. And I used to tell my coaches, like, they got JV. I don't coach on JV, not because I'm not a JV coach, but because I want you guys to learn how to coach. If you want to be a head coach, be a coordinator, take it serious. That's what I did. Coach O'Sullivan let me have, I think I had the freshman. I took it serious, coach. Like, I took it serious. I had my shirt tucked in, call sheet. That was my baby. I'm doing time management, clock management, all that kind of stuff. Using my timeouts. Like, I trained myself to be a head coach. So I tell all my guys too, when I was a head coach, hey man, y'all got JV. I'm gonna sit on the golf cart, get the crowd hype, go hang out with the cheerleaders, talk to the admin. Y'all coach, because this is y'all's time to learn to be whatever you want to be. So if you want to be a head coach, want to be a coordinator, this is your time. Learn how to do it. And I think that really helped us moving forward into the coming years.
So after that first year in, you go in, try to establish your program and all that. Mm-hmm. Y'all got better every year.
Yes, sir. We did. Went 3-7 to 5-6. And kind of like I was telling you before we got on here, man, that there was a game we played against Tucker the second year, and I think that's what catapulted us into the next year. So it went from that first year, my freshman and sophomore, seeing the seniors lose, and like, I'm kind of part of it, but I'm not really counted on a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, it's not my show. So they see it, and I'm like, hey, you don't want to be like this moving forward, so we got to make a change. So that next year, those guys are juniors and sophomores, and we're counting on them now. And, we went 5-6, lost some games we probably shouldn't have lost, all that kind of deal. But we get to the Tucker game, week 10, and we are 4-5. I forget Tucker's record, but we're battling for the 3-4 spot because Chamblee was loaded that year. That was the year Chamblee went and lost to Ware County in the second round. And Decatur was really good too. So we were playing for the 3-4 seed, and we beat Tucker by 1 point. We beat them by 1 point, and it was the first time in school history that we beat Tucker, that Arabian Mountain beat Tucker. So it was just a signature win for us because it taught our kids, like, hey, you can beat these guys. You can do this. Like, don't let the name, because that's what you get a lot in DeKalb County. You get a lot of kids that are scared of the name. They're scared of the name Stevenson. They're scared of the name Cedar Grove. They're scared of the name Tucker, which they should be. Those are really good programs. But we had to get over that hump. If we wanted to be the championship program, we knew we could be. So we ended up getting that win, man, and we went out there and got smacked around by Coach McDonald over there at Northgate in the playoffs, which was okay. I was all right with that. Got smacked really bad, but we were good, man. We were primed and ready for that next year.
And then,
oh, Coach, then it got lovely, Coach. Actually, Coach, man, we actually had tragedy strike our program. We had a kid, a senior that graduated my second year. He ended up getting a form of cancer in the week, or he got diagnosed with it like the day before he was supposed to move into college for football. Mm. And then the second week of camp, my starting safety, Dennis Amy, he in a tackling drill, man, he does everything the right way. Long story short, he got hit in a certain spot in his chest, and long story short, it paralyzed him. And that was the second day of pads that third year going into camp. So, I mean, previously before that, though, in the spring, man, that spring was the best spring football I'd ever been a part of. It was college coaches all down the line. We had kids with D1, but the practice itself was so intense. Like, we had guys out there flat out, coach, just trying to kill each other, man. Like, it was awesome. Like, however you imagine a practice supposed to be, it was flying around, pads popping, guys ain't scared of contact. Like, you could tell they wanted to win. So then we go into the summer, have that tragedy hit, and we just kind of dedicated our season to those guys. And we went out there and played Maynard Jackson week 1. And we lost. We lost 14-13 or 12-13, something like that. Lost by 1 point. And I just said after the game, like, guys, we keep saying 3-1-5. That was our little chant for those guys. You keep saying 3-1-5, but do we really mean it? Like, we just go out here and we lose to Manor Jackson, who's a good team. Don't get me wrong, they were good, but we were really good too. We should have beat them. We had better talent and all that kind of stuff, but they beat us, right? So, what are we going to be? And then we go play Heritage week 2 with Ryan Andrews, another great coach. Well, coach, I don't know if you remember that week. You probably don't, because that was the hottest week in the state of Georgia. Well, DeKalb County don't got lights on the field. We can't practice in the morning. Heritage got lights on the field. Heritage practice in the morning. So we went into a game. We hadn't practiced outside the entire week. We got wet booked every single day. And we go out there, coach, first drive, they driving down. I call a timeout because we just look all out of sorts. Man, we were wearing gray jerseys. Coach, them jerseys were pitch black. They were sweating so hard. I was like, oh, we in trouble. I sent it back on the field. I got on the hill. I said, hey, y'all, we got the coach tonight. We in trouble. But we figured out a way to win that one. And then Coach G started rolling, man. And then the big game was that Stevenson game week 3. Arabia Mountain was 0-6 to Stevenson. And we beat Stevenson that year. And that is what really told those kids, like, oh, we can do this. And because that was a good team, man. That Stevenson team was really good. I think they went on to the 3rd, 4th round that year. But we beat them. We beat them. It was the first time we had ever beat them. So, and it was homecoming. I remember my admin telling me, hey, you sure you want this for homecoming? You sure? And my senior said, yeah, we want it. I said, hey, any team on our schedule we can beat. So if they want them at homecoming, that's what we're going to play for homecoming. And so, Coach, we go out there and beat Stevenson, and then we just roll, Coach. We roll. We roll. We beat Stevenson for the first time in school history. We beat Decatur for the first time in school history. Oh, man. Then the region championship versus Old Tucker. And people don't know this. Tucker was the number 3 offense in the state. We were the number 3 defense in the state. They was averaging like 46 a game or something crazy. It was something crazy high. And we were giving up 11 a game. I think we were behind Lee County, who won it that year. So, we play Old Tucker in the region championship. And it was a brawl, man. It was a fantastic game. And long story short, it ended up being a 2-point conversion to decide it. The number 3 offense in the state versus the number 3 defense in the state for the 2-point conversion to win the region championship. And we got them. We beat them. We stopped them on that 2-point conversion, and we win the region for the first time in a couple years. So it was awesome, man. Awesome. We reached our goal. So it was a beautiful. That was the most fun I've ever had coaching, man. Most fun I've ever had coaching.
Yeah, I remember when y'all on that run and you were on a meteoric rise to stardom as a young African-American head football coach. Man, DeKalb ain't just Tucker and Stevenson and South. Y'all better watch out. That daggone Washington, he's got Arabia Mountain. They on the come up. Y'all better get ready.
Coach, and I was talking crazy, Coach. I was on social media talking crazy. Like, I was on a rant, and I'm grateful for those kids, man. Like, that was the perfect mixture of talent with football IQ. They had good academic grades. Like, Coach, it was perfect, man. It was perfect. Like, they were great kids. Practice was fun every day. Coach, was only 8 of us on staff, Coach. It was 6 up until week 7. We only had 6 coaches up until week 7. People don't know that. There's only 6 of us.
Had to wait and see if y'all gonna keep winning for them other 2 decide to come out there.
Hey, Coach, look, I was searching for. Coach, we didn't have an O-line coach. We didn't have an O-line coach. My OC, LaFloyd Phillips, man, that's my dog, man. Like, people don't realize, Coach. There were some days I was coaching all positions on defense. That same year, there were some days my OC was coaching quarterbacks and O-line. Like, Coach, but we had an attitude of we don't care. We always say figure it out. Okay, Figure it out. That was our motto, figure it out. Like, and you and my kids, hey, Coach, I ain't got to rap. You'll hear another senior say, hey, fitfo. Hey, stop talking to Coach, fitfo. Figure it out. Like, That was our mindset and our mantra. And, Coach, our kids bought in, man. They bought in.
And especially this day and time when most of them don't want to try to figure it out. No matter what it is. I mean, it scares me to death to watch children and their lack of problem-solving skills because they just won't. And I'm like, man, you better figure it out.
We were just in a position where we didn't have no choice. Like, I told her, I would be real with them. Like, guys, how many coaches do you see here? This is all we got. Like, y'all have to watch film. You have to remember this because it's all we got, guys. because that playoff game really woke everybody up when I told them after the game, I said, guys, look at what we have versus what they have. It's 30 coaches over there at Northgate. All of them got headsets, and they got the freaking field house looking over the field. We ain't got that. We ain't got lights on the field. So if you want to beat these championship teams, we got to do more. We got to be different. And they bought in. They bought in. And, Coach, it was a magical year, man. I had such great leadership. Like, Coach, locker room, they took care of it. But I tell coaches all the time, man, you get what you put into it. Like, it didn't just happen overnight. It took us weeks to say, hey, we're going to stop practicing up down because the seniors, and I'm just up down in the seniors. I ain't up down in everybody else. I'm up down in the seniors because y'all ain't taking pride in this. Like, and it became a thing. Like, we ran for zeros. Like, if you got a zero, because our kids get kicked out of school, people don't realize that. Arabian Mountain, you get kicked out of school if you get below 2.5. So I was losing kids, but I couldn't get any because we were a magnet school. So I would lose kids every year, but not get any in return.
Well, I did not know that Arabian Mountain was one of those magnetic schools.
Yes, sir. Us in Columbus High School, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. So
yeah,
if they ain't making the grades, they getting up out of there.
100%. And if you're in the magnet, it's a 3.0. So if you're in the environmental science magnet, your program, you got to keep it 3.0. But if not, Coach, I was losing kids that first year when I got there because it had to do with your fall. So if you don't have a 2.5 in the fall, you got to have a 2.5 to stay in the spring. Well, when I got there, I lost 8 kids. 6 of them were linemen. And they all went on to be really good players elsewhere. One on to be a starting center at Morrow. One was a starting center at Miller Grove. One was a defensive end at Miller. Coach, I lost players, like guys, to grades.
Yeah.
So that was the first thing. We're not losing no more kids to academics. Not if you're a player. Like, I'm going to make sure we keep our kids. So I implemented a program. Well, not a program, just I had access to your grades. So if you had a 0, you ran 5 hills. 5 hills for every 0. I ain't talking about your grade. I don't care about your Fs. How many zeros? How many not turned ins do you have?
Yes.
Running 5 for every one of those. Coach, that GPA was about 3.4.
Yeah, that don't even make no sense not turning stuff in now.
Hey, my dad used to always tell me, I'm not going to be mad at you for failing a class and you have no zeros. That means you tried harder, you just weren't smart enough. If you got zeros, that's a problem.
Yeah,
that's a
Coach,
problem.
In this day and time, that's about the only way you can fail is not.
There you go.
Not turn in work. It was driving me crazy the other day. I heard some kids, we assigned something, and we're using it as a participation grade because it's a internet platform they can go on and they can get tutoring and all this other stuff. It's big math ideas. Y'all might have big ideas, math stuff. But anyway, you go in there and pull up. Like, I can get Oklahoma's curriculum, use their textbook if I want to assign them practice or whatever. So anyway, kids are like, is this a major grade or a minor grade? Man, it's a grade.
It's a grade.
It's a grade, man. It should be an easy 100 if you just do it.
Absolutely.
But like you said, it's a mindset that you have to, instill in them, and whether they got to push sleds or run hills, whatever you got to do to get them to do what they need to do. I mean, that's part of our business.
Absolutely. Well, and discipline is just a huge part of it, man, especially when you have a small staff. Like, I remember that first, like I was telling you about that game against Dutchtown. Coach, I ran kids for being late they were late to pregame meal. I ran them on the hill before we get on the bus. I just knew I had to set that standard early. I'm not going to let the prisoners run the asylum because I know for a fact if we lose games, I get fired.
That's right.
So I'm going to go out on my own sword. And it's that simple to me. Like, I had coaches that bought in. I had kids that bought in. And the ones that didn't, they didn't make it. And that's okay.
Yeah,
I'm going to love you regardless.
Yeah.
It ain't for everybody.
Yeah, it ain't for everybody. So what happened after that magical run there?
Oh, man. After that magical run there, my wife gets a call from Sam's Club and
corporate
says we're moving to corporate and says, hey, we're moving. So after my magical year, like you just said, I climbed the ranks. I'm thinking I'm about to get one, Coach. Oh, I just knew I was about to get one of them ones. I don't know which one, but I know it's going to give me like a tier 2 job. And, I actually ended up resigning before that. I knew I was going to leave. It just wasn't a great situation for me. We can get into that off the air, but I knew I was going to probably leave. So, but my wife got a call, like, I think it was at Thanksgiving, and we ended up moving. And then as soon as we moved, we were moving to Texas. And as soon as we moved, they closed down the office there in Texas and pretty much forced everybody to move to Arkansas, or New Jersey. So we ended up moving to Arkansas, and I ended up at Bentonville High School last year, where we played in the state championship. We didn't win it. We played in the state championship, and I was coaching the tight ends over there at Bentonville High School.
So, how is football in Arkansas?
Man, it's different. It's different. It's different. So basically, everybody has essentially what Carrollton has. Everybody has a field house with an indoor. Everybody has a stadium. Everybody got a big scoreboard. Everybody has football class. You know, all that kind of stuff. Everybody has similar reasons. Pretty much everybody got money up here in Northwest Arkansas. But I'm in 7A ball, man, and the biggest difference is we don't have in Arkansas, we don't have as many athletes as 7A in Georgia. Like, you know, you go to McEachern, they got 14, 15 D1 kids. Well, we don't have that here. We have a couple, but I'm going to tell you, man, the coaching here is excellent. Like, I've seen formations in practice that I've never coached against ever. Like, my head coach is, he's our play caller, and we got an OC as well. But, like, my head coach, Coach Danaher, man, they mix it up. And he was the OC at Bentonville, and he brought me along with him. And so the offenses here, man, they're really good, Coach. Like, Coach, I've coached against probably 3 or 4 of the best offenses I've coached against in my career since I've been here.
That's
just
awesome.
From a scheme standpoint, everybody got a quarterback and an O-line and a tight end. Everybody got a quarterback, O-line, tight end.
And everybody's got his facilities. What are the numbers? What comparative to Georgia? 7A in Arkansas, is it the same as 7A in Georgia?
It's pretty much similar. I'm pretty sure Bentonville has about 4,500, maybe.
Good gracious.
About 4,000, 4,500. So it's, but everybody, it's the difference is though, like there's only 16 teams in 7A.
Okay.
In Arkansas, there's only 16 teams, and so like playoffs, right? Top 6 make it to the playoffs. There's only 2 conferences. So 6 in that conference and then 6 in our conference. But you only got to win 14 in Arkansas to win the state championship.
Right. Okay.
Or 13. Maybe it's 13, actually. 13. If you're the 1 seed, you get a bye week, then you got to win 3.
Okay.
So it's a little different in that aspect. It's not as many teams. But, I mean, because it's good football.
So your head coach was the OC at Bentonville. Y'all play for a state championship. He parlays that into the head coaching job at Har-Ber, and you go with him.
Yes, sir. When I was coaching tight ends at Bentonville. So when I got to Bentonville, I got there in September because, like I said, we were kind of in limbo. We didn't really know what was going on with my wife's job. So when we got here, I volunteered last year at Bentonville as the tight ends coach. And so, he saw my resume and all that kind of stuff. And one of the first things they asked me to do was, hey, it's week 3. I think it was going into week 3 or week 4. He was like, hey, can you just do a breakdown of our offense? Like, tell me our tendencies, all that kind of stuff. So I went on a deep dive, in our offense, and I actually gave him a game plan. I gave him a game plan, and it's like, this is what I would do versus you guys. This is what I see. And that turned into, okay, now we're in meetings, and I'm like, hey, coach, I don't have too much say so. Because like I said, I just got there, so I'm not trying to overstep any boundaries. I've been a head coach before, so I know how it is when you got new coaches. But, I would just, hey, coach, these are a couple wrinkles that I see. Because this is the first time I've been on a staff where we can call whatever we want. Like, hey, we got the time, coach. We got the time to do it. Like, so I would put in, a couple plays here and there, and then my plays worked here and there. And so we just built a relationship, man. And he knew I was a defensive guy. And so when he got this job, I actually interviewed for it as well. I interviewed for the job as well. But when he got it, man, I just said, hey, you ain't got to do me no favors. I'll come in and interview. I don't have an issue with it. I want you to make sure, do your due diligence. Do your due diligence and hire me. Make sure I'm the right guy for you because, like I said, I know how it is. Don't just hire me because you think I did a good job in Georgia. Make sure I know my stuff. So we, came in, did a little interview, and he hired me here. And man, it's been awesome, man. It's been awesome.
So you've done all these things. You started out in college and played a little college ball and been all over the place. What's some advice you'd give to young coaches as they're starting out or they're thinking about going into the business?
Learn, man. Like, don't be afraid. Like, shut up and listen. Like, learn. Because you don't know everything. And you probably don't know anything. Like, I still don't know anything, in my opinion. But you just gotta learn, man. Be willing to shut up and listen to people. Like, I've been blessed to be around people that are way smarter than me and that I'm able to just soak up information. Like it started over there at Duluth with Coach Swank and Coach Williams, who like they held me to a certain standard. Like I always bring this up. Like Coach Williams, he's DC at Tuskegee now. I remember the first time I drew a card for him, a scout card. I brought it to him. He said, "Man, what is this? What are colors? What are sharpness? And I was like, "Oh, okay." So I learned. I was blessed to be around guys that were willing to teach me. Like if you're at a job and you feel like you're not learning anything, or you feel like that head coach or whoever isn't giving you the ability to learn, go find somebody that'll teach you, because that is what grew me. Like I can call any of those guys right now and ask a question, and they'll help me out. It's not and you got to be able to take that coaching as well. Like imagine if I'd have went in there and Coach Frank would have got on to me for me not being prepared, and I took offense to that. Like where would that have gotten me? Right? You got to always be self-reflective and be willing to learn. Because I'm telling you, man, you don't know everything. You don't know everything, and you can always learn something. Somebody will humble you. Somebody will humble you. So just be willing to learn, man, and God, stop taking these jobs just because you think the name is good. That's my biggest. Like if you've been at a staff, you want to be an offensive coordinator, and you've been on that same staff for 10 years, and he ain't never gave you the opportunity to call players on varsity, find another job. Like, stop sitting around and being the token guy for these people when you have if you want to grow, right? If you want to grow in this profession, man, find somebody that is willing to teach you in this profession. That's what helped me in my career. Always being willing to learn. And then if you have goals, man, know what kind of job you're getting into and know where that job can get you. If that's what your goal is, know where that job can get you.
Coach, the jobs have gotten you moving up, and I'm sure it won't be long until you're leading a program of your own again. What a fantastic story. I appreciate you coming on and sharing it with us.
Coach, I appreciate you having me, man. It's always good talking to Mox.
Well, thanks, Coach. I sure do appreciate it.
Yes, sir. I appreciate
Season 7 of Sun Coaches Podcast is proudly brought to you by Titan Sensor. Season 7